Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
Shout out today to the feminine. The feminine. Now, first, let's talk about this. So, both men and women have masculine and feminine in them, right? It's that yin yang. Like, it is part of who we are as men and women, as we have both. The challenge that has happened in our world is that the masculine and feminine roles are very much out of balance. Individually within women and men, in relationships with women and men together, and really kind of as a collective. And this is what you see too, a lot of the uprising of the women that is happening. And so let's talk about what that looks like and feelings that you might have about it too, because, you know, to me, I had been a woman for years. I was like, I'm not the girly girl. Women don't understand me. I'm not like other women. And it's so interesting. When I started to really speak into this a while back, probably more like the beginnings of this podcast, there were so many women that came up and said, yeah, I feel that way too. And I'm like, oh, right, so I'm not the only one. Right, that is ego speaking, saying, oh, it's just you, Karen. It's just you. Isn't it so funny? We think that all this shit is just about us. Ego would love us to think that way because that keeps us separate, right? It doesn't allow us to really wake up to the fact that that is not true, that that is our small false self. It's trying to make us play small, when really we are all one and connected on this earth. It just is. And so I had these feelings about being feminine, and to be feminine too, I would equate with being girly or passive or weak or powerless or complacent, submissive. That was a word too I thought of, like, nope, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Don't care kind of thing. That was my pushback to all that, right? And what I've since realized is that the feminine is none of those things. The feminine is actually its own brand of power. And what has happened to a lot of us women is that we have felt that either number one, or piece of it is number one, we don't feel we fit in this feminine model. Like, we can look at ourselves and go, I am a woman, I have breasts and a vagina, you know, I've birthed or not birthed children, or I'm a mother, like, I know I'm a woman, but yet are so heavily strong in this masculine. And, we could have this conversation for hours, right, as to why. But let's just shelf that right now. But just the fact that there are so many of us that just are in that energy of like, fuck you, I'm going to make shit happen. I mean, I even too have always had this feeling of, or at least in the past, of like, I feel more comfortable around men. I have more male friends. I don't feel comfortable around women. And again, this could be you, sister, and many that have also been like raising their hand going, yeah, me too, Karen. Me too. And so have kind of made ourselves, let's just put it that way, ego and fear has made us into this very, masculine energy, which masculine energy is that like driver, get shit done, fix it. I don't want to say a little bit more extrovert because that's not it at all, but just pushing, forcing. And again, I say these words without it being like, it's not a negative thing. I want to just really clear that right now. It's just a different kind of energy. And as women, sometimes we need to tap into that masculine, right? Like, it's going to serve us at times. I mean, think if we're in a place where maybe we're being physically threatened in some way, right? Or something's going to happen to us or be harmed or to our children, you better fucking believe we're going to bring that masculine energy out. It's needed at that time. But just like for a lot of us and a lot of people in this world that are constantly in a place of stress, and we're firing that part of our nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight response, which is necessary in times of real stress, right? We knew that way back that, we needed to have that, like, your heart rate increases, you sweat, like you got to move, all your senses are kind of heightened and on high alert if you need to get out of danger, if you're being chased by the saber-toothed tiger, right? And then you get out of that and you're like, right? Like the body did that to serve you. The challenge is most people are in that place all the time now. In that fight or flight all the time. A lot of women are very much heavily into that masculine energy a lot of the time, feeling they have to be there, not knowing any other way, being programmed to believe this is the way it is. This is the way you got to be as a woman. And you cannot be in that feminine energy if you are in that place of being threatened. You can't be in this allowing, receiving, calm, like that type of energy, nurturing, right? If someone's going to harm you, your children, like you got to pump it into that masculine vibe right away. Like that's fine. That's cool. And I want you to know too, it's not necessarily like a flip into masculine and a flip out of feminine and vice versa, but it's like, let me kind of ease into the masculine gas, if you will, a little bit more in these situations. But what this has made us feel as women is, number one, feeling like something's like, what's wrong with me? I don't feel like I'm a woman. I don't feel feminine. And number two, it's completely put us out of alignment with who we truly are inside. It has. It has. And you know it because it doesn't feel good. It feels like something's up. It feels like something's out. It feels like this is the not fit feeling, right? Like I don't feel like I fit. Because you're trying to fit yourself into that masculine energy the majority of the time when you have this divine feminine. This is why I'm calling this Shout to the Feminine. This divine feminine power within you, sister, that is more powerful than you can even imagine. That is the energy that, yes, is receiving and allowing and intuitive. Men are masculine is intuitive too, but women, we have a very special vibe of that. It's very different. I shouldn't say it's very different, but it's different. It's deeper. That's the word. It's deeper. There's more depth to our intuitive knowing. There is a knowing that we have in the feminine. There is an understanding about our role as nurturers. And some of us actually, look, it's not a mistake. Now you can say other reasons, but listen, it's not a mistake that most of teachers, nurses, caregivers, nurture in some way, preschool teachers are women. It is in our makeup to nurture. Now again, I for the longest time was like, nope, not doing that. Even with being a mother, was like, nope, I'm a working mom. I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I would absolutely honor those moms that are stay-at-home moms. I'd be like, that ain't me. It's still not me to be fully in the role of stay-at-home mom, but you better fucking believe that taking care of my children is primary number one. I love you. This message and this movement and what I'm speaking into now with Women Wanting More is necessary, and I've been called to do this. I absolutely know that. I know that. I'm being shown this. I'm being shown this. Literally, the things that I say in this podcast is so funny. Some of you will like quote it back or message me and stuff. I'm like, man, that sounded great. Like, there's no rehearsing these. There's no like, I'm going to talk about this thing. It literally just comes through me. There is a power in this feminine energy that you don't know until you really allow yourself to be in that space. To understand that it's not passive. It's actually very action-taking. That it's not just about like, manifesting the things that you want without anything behind it. No, not at all. But it's an understanding that there is so much more power in having an intention for something, yes, putting action behind it, and then allowing it. Allowing it, right? Not pushing, not, for me, it came to a lot of this stuff when I started to realize that some of the same ways of being, of like, I'm going to get shit done and pushing and I can do this and blah, 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 which is, again, times when that has to happen, right? Like, the stories of like, mothers that lift the cars off their kids that are run over, like, they got to tap into that masculine, right? They don't go like, oh, let me just wait for someone to allow it to happen. I'm going to wait for the intuitive hit to come. It's like, no, I got to fucking lift that car off my kid and save them, right? Like, boom, you got to go there. But we can't stay in that space for long periods of time without feeling these feelings of not belonging and being out of alignment. Because we're not tapping into who we truly are as women. And which is a real also connection to spirituality. You know, the feminine is a real pull to spirituality as well too. The feeling of bigger than, bigness of life outside of, yourself and your world and your family and your relationships and your work and your business. Understanding the connectedness. I mean, listen, women, most women, I was not able to with infertility, but, women, I mean, look at this. Create life. Birth life. Nurture their children. Produce milk to be able to provide for the children. I mean, if that's not fucking powerful, I don't know what is, right? Powerful. So shout out to the feminine. I want you to know that it is okay to start to lean into these sides of you. It is not like I thought, and like you might have thought too. It's not weak, it's not passive, it's not submissive, it's none of those things. It is understanding there is a divine power to this feminine energy flow that allows, that receives, that nurtures, that is calm. That is who you truly are, who I truly am, who we are all really are as women. Is this. So let's talk about your more tip for today. This is going to be a really simple one. Okay, sister, here we go. Here's the hit I'm getting. I want you to put on your phone. I'm just listening. Sometimes I kind of hear different messages coming in for me with this. Okay, yeah, here's what we're going to do. You're going to either write down on a Post-it note or put on your phone as wallpaper. I am powerful in my feminine. Okay? Now, when I say that, it's not like I'm powerful in my feminine. Like, it's not that, okay? It's just I am powerful in my feminine. If you want to say that throughout the day, great. You want to have that as a reminder, great. And what you're going to find is every time you try to go to this place of like pushing and forcing, and when that masculine energy is really not warranted or needed at all, it'll be a reminder for you. Okay, reminder for you. And we're going to speak more into this because, this is really what I'm hearing from the women that I'm coaching. This has been the patterns when I really reflect back over the last 3.5, 4 years. This has been really what all of you are telling me that you need. And it comes down to this. It comes down to really understanding our roles in this feminine and how to really be that. Worthiness is the second huge piece. And the third is how you really start to unlearn and unwind this subconscious programming. We can talk about goals. We can do all those things. That's fine. But those three pieces that I just talked about, being in your feminine, being able to understand your worth and address these feelings of unworthiness and how to really shift that, like how to really shift it. And the third of how to really unlearn these subconscious programming that we're just running. We're just on repeat of all these memories over. They're just showing up in different ways. But, you can look back and go, yep, this one, this thing, this. I'm just looping. I'm just like on a loop, like on repeat. Your favorite song on repeat. Except that's been your life and your behaviors and your patterns and your choices and your relationships and all of it. The way you see yourself. So these are the three main pieces that are part of how I coach now. It's so much bigger than goal setting, sister. It's so much bigger than that. These are the reasons why you're not following through with things. These are the reasons why you say things like, I know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know why I'm not losing the weight. Like, I know what I need to do and I'm just not following through. Or I got to this project and I sabotaged at the end. Like something, your body or my body's breaking down. There are ways, there are signals and messages and things that you're getting in that are showing you that you're out of alignment with who you are in this feminine. And so your more tip today is just, it's the beginning piece of this, is help to remind you of that. All right, sister, one thing I want to mention then finishing up is there are currently just 2 spots left for my summer one-on-one coaching program. This is for women that And this might be you too, that are just, you're hearing the three things I'm talking about. You're like, yes, I need help with that. You're at a crisis point in your life. You're at a crossroads. It's like shit is just crumbling down. Or you feel like enough is enough of whatever is happening in your life. Like, it's time to invest in me. It's time to take care of me. It's time to, really do this in a way where I can move through these things without having to stumble and fall and stumble and fall and stumble and fall and try to figure it out on my own, because we're not here to live this life alone, sister. We are here to find those that support us and teach us and guide us. And there might be something calling in your heart right now that you're hearing, that you're resonating with, where you're just like, oh my God, yes. So if you're feeling that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to email me, drkarenosburn@gmail.com. So I'll spell that drkarenosburn@gmail.com. And these last two spots in my one-on-one coaching program are by application only. So what I want you to do is email me, drkarenosburn@gmail.com, and say, Karen, I'd like to apply for one of the remaining two spots in the one-on-one coaching program for the summer. And then I will send you further instructions from there. So I will talk to you in the next episode, sister. A life of more is understanding the power in your feminine every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.